are going to present another Mark Twain novels, which is The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Okay. First of all, Samuel Danforth Clemens, better known by his pen name Mark Twain, was an American author and humorist. He was raised in Hannibal, Missouri, where he took inspiration when he wrote his two main works, Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer. Twain began his career writing in a light and humorous style, but evolved into a chronicler of mankind's vanities and meanness. The author was a master at rendering colloquial speech, and he helped to create and popularize a distinctive American literature built on American themes and language. Among his main works, we can highlight The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, Joan of Arc, The Prince and the Pauper, a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court, and obviously The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. The historical context. The book was published in 1884 in the UK and 1 year later in the US. When Twain began writing the novel during the Reconstruction period, immediately after the Civil War had ended, and obviously when slavery was abolished. Even though slavery was abolished, the white minority kept oppressing the black minority. And this situation was emphasized when the Jim Crow laws were passed. It's important to mention that the aim of these laws was to foster racial segregation in the southern part of the country. Mark Twain was a stalwart abolitionist and advocate for emancipation, the racial segregation of his days by exploring the theme of slavery in the novel. Also important to the novel is the Second Great Awakening, which was a religious revival that took place during the last part of the 18th century and during the middle part of the 19th century in the US. Twain was critical of religious movements and religious revival, mainly because his ideas were that Christians didn't necessarily act morally, and this critique was articulated throughout the novel.
Okay, talking about the narrator. The narrator is first person. He introduces himself as in the first part of the book. You don't know about me without you have read the book about Tom Sawyer. So in that part of the book, we realize that we are going to explore the book through his perspective and his doubtful voice, and we have to trust on him so as to understand the book. This novel falls under the genre of adventure and picaresque. Picaresque is a special type of adventure genre that features a rough and tumble protagonist, and it portrays one adventure after adventure, in the case of Huckleberry Finn. And also, picaresque novels are described as episodic. It is like we're watching a television series, and it is the story is self-contained and on the parts of the story. And apart from that, we witness in this novel the Bildungsroman. Roman. That means that we are witnessing how he grows through all the experiences that he faces in the story. And as he grows as a person, Huck Finn, so that's his awareness and understanding of human nature. So we know how he develops as a man, and through the story and the experiences he lives.
Well, hello, I am Huckleberry Finn.
Cheers.
My father is the local drunk and he disappears for months. For that reason, I am usually dirty and homeless. Well, I am really thoughtful and intelligent, although I don't have a formal education. Well, Miss Widow Douglas wanted to, no yet, Widow Douglas wanted to educate me, but I don't want to live with her because I prefer my independent life. Well, as I am a child, the world seems new for me, and everything I encounter is a possibility for thought. Well, I have to say that I am an influenced person. I am easily influenced by others, especially by my best friend, who is Tom Sawyer. Well, he is Tom Sawyer. He is 13 years old as me, but he has raised in relative comfort. That is different from my situation. For that reason, his ideas are based on what adults have taught him. But we are really different. Where he is imaginative, I am practical. Where he has always his nose on a book, I prefer to run away to the river and woods. And where he is basically a good-hearted kid, but I am a boy on the verge of becoming a man. Then we have my companion Jim, that you well, he's Jim. He is my companion. He is a man of remarkable intelligence and compassion. At first glance, Jim seems so superstitious to the point of idiocy. But Jim's superstitions represent another kind of intelligence and another kind of truth. Well, he has become my substitute father, and he is a loyal friend and noble human being. Did I mention that he is a slave? No. Well, this is not important for me, but he is a slave. The other character is my father that you knew before. He is the local drunk and he disappears for months. Well, he's an illiterate person. For that reason, he disapproves my education and he beats me really frequently. In short, he is an abusive, racist, ignorant, and alcoholic person who extorts whiskey money from me, and he has no redeeming qualities. Get over. The other character is Widow Douglas. Well, she is Widow Douglas. She is a really nice lady. She lives with her sister, Miss Watson, and he wants to civilize me, although I don't want to be civilized. In short, she is a kind person, she is mostly caring, and she is 100% committed to follow the rules of society. And the last one, the last character is Miss Watson, and he couldn't come to the presentation. So sorry. She is a really bad person with me, and she is always saying, why don't you try to behave, Huckleberry, or don't put your feet up there, Huckleberry. So she is a really bad person. For that reason, I didn't invite her to.
Okay, I will tell you a brief summary of the Huckleberry Finn adventures. I know you know me as Pap, Huck's father, and I am not the narrator of this story, but I do what I do. So I will tell you the summary. As you know, Huckleberry Finn is a 13-year-old boy that narrates this story. This story begins with Huck in Missouri getting civilized by Widow Douglas and Mrs. Watson. But this is not the natural essence of Finn, Huckleberry Finn. As you know, Huckleberry Finn met his friend Tom Sawyer from the last book,
and both together found a treasure, some gold. So for this reason, he's supposed to be civilized. He's supposed to not be a street boy, rather than learn to be a gentleman. Then, by the time Huck's father knew that he had some money, so he shows up to demand the money. But as Fernanda said, Bob is ugly, violent, a disgusting man, always drunk. He kidnapped his son and takes him off down the river to a filthy property for hiding him and stole the man. As Huckleberry Finn doesn't like the idea to live with his father, he fakes his own death and hides out on a nearby island where he meets another runaway, Jim, the slave. So, who is also hiding from to avoid being sold south and separated from his family. From now on, Finn and Jim start to experience several adventures. That is almost impossible to tell everything the stories, but I am sure you would like to know some of them. So, Huck pretends to be a girl in order to get some information throughout the story. Also, he accidentally ends up on a wrecked steamship full of thieves. Also, he was separated after a near drawing. Then he joins up with some theater artists who scam the whole town full of people. And also, he pretends to be his best friend, Tom Sawyer, when they went to Tom's farm. Meanwhile, Huck decides that helping Jim is a good right thing to do, even if he goes to hell for it. But unfortunately, Jim's story doesn't have a happy ending at the moment because he was recapitulated. And when he's about to be executed, Tom announces that first, Jim saved his life, and second, that Miss Watson, his master, actually freed Jim in her will when she died a couple of months ago. So finally, the narrator, Huckleberry Finn, reveals that Huck's father died on the filthy property when Huck escaped. Do you remember? Right? In the river. No, you don't remember. Don't worry. And also that Huckleberry Finn still has the money, and now he's looking for new adventures.
The themes. Regarding the themes, we have racism and slavery. Regarding to this, in the novel, many characters are slaveholders that profit from slavery. They oppress and physically and mentally abused of his slaves. Regarding to this, slaveholders rationalize their behavior by assuring themselves of a racial stereotype that black people are inferior or are less intelligent than white people. Regarding to this, a clear example could be when Huck himself buys into racial stereotype when he knows that he has a social and legal obligation of returning Jim back to his life as a slave. But instead, he decides to
to know Jim, and he discovers that he is a person who loves, who even can be more a very good person, even more than other people. The next is religion. Here, Twain suggests that Christianity of the South is it's a living contradiction in that it allows slavery, but yet ignores the biblical words that says that everything and everyone is equal. Here the example is when Huckleberry Finn rebels against Christianity, when he decides that he prefers going to hell instead of returning him to his life as a slave. And the last one is the conflict between civilization and freedom. Here Twain suggests that the uncivilized way of life is more desirable and better than living as a civilized person, because he considered that the civilized corrupts people. He prefers freedom because he discovered that he is able to know people and he is able to something like accept everyone. That's it.
Okay, finally, regarding the symbolism present in the novel, we have the Mississippi River, which is on which so much of the story takes place. And it is a sublime and dangerous body of water, and is a symbol for absolute freedom. As you saw before in the story, in the Mississippi River, everything happens. This is the mean by which Huck and Jim wants to access the free states, so it represents freedom in the story. And the second symbol is the raft. And the raft, as the river is a symbol of absolute freedom, then the raft symbolizes the limitations that are necessary, and that one must necessarily impose in one ounce freedom if one is not want to be overwhelmed. So when we are free, we anyways have to have to set some limitations. And unlike the sometimes ridiculous rules that are part of the society, the only rules that are present in the raft are accept the differences and support one another. So they are very simple rules that they have to follow. So the raft is a kind of model society for Huck, Jim, and Tom Sawyer, and in which one can enjoy freedom, but at the same time not drown in one's own freedom. So these are the two symbols. And that's the end of our presentation. Thank you for your